Namaskar and welcome back to Rudra Vedic Jyotish. I am Neha Dalvi. In our last video, we were left with a question. Since space is a vacuum and there is no medium for sound to travel from one point to another, how can anyone hear anything? We will answer that question in our video today as we learn about the airy element. The airy element rules the sense of touch. We can always sense the presence of air or wind just by the slightest breeze. And when we sense this, we feel it on our bodies as it touches our bodies. Hence, the airy element rules the sense of touch. Whenever anything touches our bodies, it comes in contact first with our skin. Hence, the skin is the sensory organ for the airy element. The most commonly used organs to touch anything are our hands. Hence, the hands are the motor organs for the airy element. The sages from the Vedic era had another name for air. They called it Pran. Pran means life. This means that the airy element is of vital importance for our survival. We must keep breathing in order to be alive. What keeps us alive is the oxygen that we breathe in, and that is in the air. If we ever stop breathing, our heart will stop its function, ultimately causing our death. Therefore, a well-balanced airy element is of extreme importance. For instance, if there is shortage of air, we will suffocate to death. If there is too much aggression in the air, like in a storm, it will also cause destruction. But when there is an optimal amount of air, it creates a pleasant atmosphere. We have seen the ever-expansive nature of the ether element or space and its ability to create more space, that is, create availability. Although the ether element rules the sense of sound, there is no sound in space. But that is not true. Although space is a vacuum and there is no medium for movement from one point to another, sound does exist even in space in those areas where there is presence of air. The movement of sound is enabled by the airy element. Hence, movement or mobility is the primary function of the airy element. The airy element also showcases some additional features or functions. For instance, let's look at the motor organs related to the airy element. Our hands. Yes, we touch things with our hands. Primary function. However, that is not the only function. We also use our hands to hold on to things. When we are holding on to something, it is in our control. When we take something in our hands, we have received or collected it from another source. And when we tend to release things from our hands, we are giving them away or distributing them to another. Hence, holding or controlling, receiving or collecting, and giving or distributing are also some of the functions related to the airy element. Various gestures of the hand are enough to communicate. Hand gestures are also primarily used in communicating through sign language. As the airy element helps the movement of sound from one point to another, we can hear somebody, and in return, they can hear our response. This creates a dialogue between two people, giving rise to communication. Therefore, communication is an additional feature of the airy element. The planet Saturn represents the airy element. The airy signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. The constellations Ashwini, Mrugashirsha, Punarvasu, Uttara Phalguni, Hasta, Chitra, Vishakha are all airy constellations. More about the connection of Saturn and the constellations to the airy element, and also the difference between the airy element of each zodiac sign can be known better when we learn in detail about the planets, signs and constellations. The airy element is responsible for movement, but the airy element has no set direction. Then how can we control the movement of anything? How can we have any sense of direction? More about that in our next video. Stay tuned until then. I am Neha Dalvi. Namaskar.